We are where we are today because of the kind of people that we have become. Pre-colonial era, you will remember the first protest that we had in Enugu, I think in the 1921. I think it's just after the about women riots. These were people, Nigerians, we were people who didn't want to be oppressed. We were ready to fight for our rights because our ancestors were never cowards. But today, we have become people who vilify the brave ones amongst us. You'll be surprised how even some Igbo elements have been castigating Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So many people have gotten so beaten, wherein they have what we call Stockholm syndrome. Now they worship their oppressor, or should I say, an oppressive system they have been caged in. That is the case that we find ourselves today. Just today, the reassurance that indeed Nigerians can have what we call a national referendum was demonstrated by one young man. Shall I say a young man? Okay, I can say a young adult, which is Sowore in the Federal High Court, when he challenged the court officials. We will watch the video at the end of my conversation. He challenged them head on that the Nigerian police cannot continue to be oppressive to the Nigerian people who are the ones paying their salaries. It is that phone that I sell in Ikeja, that model of gari, that derika of rice, that fufu, apple that I sell, when I get taxed, from that money that they gather together, from it, they pay these police officers. If Nigeria goes broke today, where a situation nobody pays any form of revenue to the government, no police will come out and say that they are doing it for the country. So, a total demonstration that Nigerians, we are where we are today because of the kind of people we have become is loud and clear. Very loud and clear. Our ancestors, when they demanded for this independence, when Anthony Enohoro stood up in front of the colonial masters and said we have to push for our independence in 1954 in United Kingdom, the white men look at him and like, who is this guy? A 21-year-old guy. Just please shut up. Even those that are older than you did not speak. But he insisted. And 6 years down the line, after doing so many diplomatic works, Nigeria was given independence on a platter. I understand so many people have said because Nigeria got independence at a platter, this is why we did not appreciate our independence, or perhaps they gave us a pseudo independence. Why that cannot be 100% untrue, the bone of contention and the moral of that story is we have become whatever that has brought us here. All of us have now docile. We now even vilify those that try to speak for us. I am not surprised people are attacking Sowore. I'm not. If people can be calling Nnamdi Kanu a terrorist, if fellow Igbo people can come out confidently and say Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist, use all manner of words against it, that is unintelligent, is destroying Allah Igbo, people can come out and say Fela is just a Igbo addict. When people can come out and vilify those past heroes, then indeed, why we are here is because of the kind of people we have become. We all need to put on that characteristics of Nnamdi Kanu, of Sowore, by becoming vocal against this oppressive system. There are two people that are benefiting from this status quo. Just two people. The number one people are the British Royal Company. The British. When the British were about to leave, they two stand in the shadows, throwing the arrows of the Fulanis. Let me say it again. When they were about to hand over the independence, the British gave us a monster. Therefore, they hid in the shadows, and until we as a people understand that we need to rise up and fight these monsters that hold our security apparatus. I mean, apparently, our forefathers, or should I say, even in the southeast, there was a time they fought the British, the colonial masters, for a period of 30 years until they used religion to entice them, then to conquer them. Today, our masters are the oppressors, who are the political, rogues. We have them in our individual states. We must, as a matter of fact, put on these characteristics of Kanu and Sowore, wherein we say no to every oppressive system. Only then can we guarantee that we can have what it is called national referendum. We need to come together. We need to speak in one voice. That we do not even want a national election. Let us have a national referendum, how we want to move this country forward. First and foremost, before we talk about maybe a Tinubu wants to go in the second tenure, or whatever the case is. Just some days ago, we saw IBB, Ibrahim Babangida. We saw how so many people who had their ancestors beaten down by this very man, this Fulani man, praising him because he came out to state the obvious, that the 1966 coup is not an Igbo coup. Anybody that has been calling the 1966 coup an Igbo coup are just ignorant. By God, that's who they are. Or should I call them illiterate? Because for people like me and for so many people in my class consciousness, we are taking our time to study that what happened then was all about the Western powers trying to manipulate the Nigerian system, because they felt the Nigeria was becoming a developed nation, which they never wanted. Pre that coup, everybody was progressing in its own direction according to its capacity. The Southwest was enjoying what we call their own golden era. We had the cocoa, the industrialization, they had all manner of plantations. The same thing was going in the North. They were enjoying their cotton revolution, agricultural revolution. The Southeast was also enjoying its own industrialization. They were enjoying their palm kernel revolution, down to the South. And we are already having oil. Then they struck. Boom. We knew that they planted those militaries. They brainwashed them. They struck. Those militaries, they were revolutionaries because they were well read. Kaduna Nziogu, Ife Ajuna, Ademoyega, all of them, they were all students of the Marxist ideology. They were seeing the level of corruption that was going on by Tafawa Balewa and co, a Fulani man, of course. They were beginning, those leaders of them started separating themselves. The Minister of Finance, Okotiebo, was living a lavish lifestyle, carrying women from Luxembourg to London to Paris. You know, these were the things that prompted them. And when that incident happened, the colonial masters saw an avenue, and then they started running the campaign. It was the BBC and then the British Post that started the agenda that what happened was an Igbo coup. And that spread like a wildfire. And to this day, in year 2025, we as a collective, because the only people that is enjoying this dysfunctional, a fractured nation, the only people enjoying it are, of course, the Fulani bandits, the Fulani oligarchs, and then the corrupt elements that we have in the south. Take a look at it. A Fulani man, or shall I say an Hausa Fulani man, does not need to study hard as much as you should in the south for him to attain that same apex position in any governmental organization. Then you must see that the British has wired it that way, because they know that those Fulanis will forever be their puppets, their stooges, which they can control. The Fulanis are at the whims and caprices of the colonial masters even to this very day. Who was the one that made Gowon to have achieved whatever feat he achieved in that 1970? When Gowon was writing letter to the Prime Minister of Britain, I need weaponries, I need jets, I need bombardiers, I need missiles, I need RPG. They were asking him, hey, you know what? Those people, their oil and gas is what we are after. That is why you see that immediately after that war, the influx of the Western organizations, OIC, these are demons, these are weapons the colonial masters use to tame any economy down. They tell you, you cannot have a closed economy. You shouldn't have a closed economy. You should open up your economy. You know, when you open up your economy, they know perfectly well that first and foremost, your currency becomes worthless. So they will come with their own hard currencies. They will be able to, you know, buy your assets. They know there are companies who have had so much experience in the drilling, in the oil explorations. They know because they have the technical know-how. They start giving you the conditions. This one are your property, but they will deceive you that, you know what, you cannot close your society. Let us have what we call open market, you know, whereby we can come in. These foreigners, when they come in, they start dictating to you, and before you know it, they become so influential because they have taken over your economy. That was the conditions they gave Gowon. You see that it was then Babangida and co started implementing what we call IMF policies. These are anti-people, underdeveloped nation policies. The foreigners will come, they come with their money, and before you know it, they start dictating how you progress. Because they have the money, they start influencing your politics. I gotta tell you, we would have splitted long ago if Nigeria didn't have such resources. The British companies, and of course the American companies, are the reason why Nigeria is still how it is today. And until we open our eyes like this, we see that we need to put on the thinking cap of these people, Nnamdi Kanu, Sowore, that they are not the enemies, that we need to open our minds to see what is going on, that indeed we need to be anti-West. Because the West will not want you to break away from their shackles, wherein they are the one dictating your economy. We know that the biggest shark today is in America. In fact, can you see what America is doing to all, even Western Europe? Using tariffs and all manner of economic, you know, weapons to deal with them. You can see the way they have been deporting our brothers. the way forward is we need a national referendum. I know if we have it, we won't be here. But I repeat again that we are here because of the people that we have become. It's as simple, it's as clear, and just as clear as night and day. That the only reason why we are trapped in this contraption is because of the kind of people we have become, wherein we vilify our activists. Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, when he was fighting with the colonial masters, when he eventually won that battle and he became the first prime minister of Tanzania, he pushed a bill wherein he made it constitutional. He said nobody will come and discuss anything tribalism. That's in Tanzania. He said that there must be equity in governance. Julius Nyerere was being convinced by these Westerners, Western powers. They told the other, open your market. You know what? You shouldn't. They started pushing propaganda that Nyerere is from a minority tribe. He shouldn't have been the one leading. They were touting the majority people. But because Julius Nyerere was a sincere man, and most importantly, the Tanzanians were not fools. They didn't allow their primordial sentiments to becloud their judgment. They believed in him. And to this very day, Tanzania has one of the strongest democracies. I tell you, they have one of the most strongest democracy in East Africa. Go and check it out. So we as people, I don't want to say we as Nigerians, but I mean by circumstances, we find ourselves in Nigeria. We need to embody the characteristics of Sowore, Nnamdi Kanu. These are people who will fully understand that we need to rise and stand up. The majority of the reasons why we are here is because all of us, we rather japa. When we japa, we go into America and we start saying that we dey fight. No, we need to stay, fight, have a procession. That we want the national referendum. They cannot kill us. We have to be resilient. When we have a procession, have a placard, we want national referendum. We go to the National Assembly. Well, we are only here because of the kind of people we have become. Thank you. Let's watch the video of Sowore together today. Thank you.
Say, who are you shouting? Who is that? Do I look like Yaya Bello to you? I beg, go and sit down. Go and sit down. Go on. Hey, what's that? What's that? What's that? What's that?
Good day, sir.
Yes.
I'm a police officer. Please
So what?
Come out.
I'm not coming out.
Who are you? Can I know if
I have a business in court.
Okay, please.
No, I'm not coming out. I'm not coming out. You can't clear me. You are not an officer of the court.
Hello, sir.
You are an AFCC officer.
Hello, sir.
You have no business standing in front of the court.
I'm talking to you now.
So
Clear,
why is he jumping at me?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes.
Please, what can I do for
This
you?
is a federal high court.
Yes, you are.
Bring a court official. I'll talk to the person.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm a policeman.
Or you have a senior. How are you? You are not a court official. You are allowed EFCC to be flying at people in court. That's what the nonsense the DSS does here too. It's not taking it easy now. They are the ones who bring us to court. EFCC for that matter. Yes.
This issue happened last time.
There's no issue. I have a court case. Please. Leave the road. Hey, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
I'll restrict you.
You can't restrict me. You can't.
No.
There's no order given to you that can prevent me from going to. You can't. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. No, I'm not going to call anybody given to you that can prevent me from going to. You can't. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. No, I'm not going to call anybody to tell you a case I have. No, you have no right. You have no right to prevent me from attending to my case at the Federal High Court. You don't have any right to stay in front of the Federal High Court, regardless of who you are.
Which case do you have?
I'm not going to tell you my case. You are not my lawyer. You are not my lawyer.
In fact, you are free.
Stop your foolishness. You are not my lawyer.